Something about the way Ben Shephard carries himself on screen has always felt like there was more underneath the easy smile and the quick banter. You watch him host Ninja Warrior UK, bounding around the course, hyping contestants, full of that bright, relentless energy, and yet every so often a quietness slips through. It is not sadness exactly. It is something softer. A kind of groundedness that makes you wonder what stays with him when the cameras stop rolling. 4 years, viewers of Good Morning Britain and This Morning have grown used to Ben as the polished, reliable presence. The man who can steady a chaotic studio, who can laugh with co-presenters and still keep the conversation moving. But the rare moments when he has spoken about home, about the 2 boys growing up under his roof, have landed differently. They feel less like celebrity updates and more like small windows into a life he has deliberately kept private. Sam and Jack. That is all most of us have ever really known. 2 sons. One born in 2005, the other in 2007. Raised largely away from the flash of red carpets and the constant scrutiny that comes with being the children of a familiar face on daytime television. Annie, his wife of more than 20 years, has stayed even further from the spotlight. Their life together has been the quiet counterpoint to Ben's very public career. And that contrast is precisely why so many people watching have felt strangely protective of it. There is something almost old-fashioned in the way Ben has approached fatherhood on screen. He does not perform it. He does not turn family milestones into content. When a photograph surfaces of the 3 of them standing side by side, the boys already taller than their dad, the reaction online is rarely the usual celebrity noise. It is softer. People pause. They notice the height difference. They notice the easy body language. They talk about how quickly time seems to have moved. One moment Ben was the young presenter balancing early parenthood with the rise of Ninja Warrior. The next he is the man whose sons are heading into university and A-levels, already carving out their own independence. What stays with many viewers is the way those rare glimpses shift the atmosphere around him. On the sofa he is still the same Ben, warm, quick, professional. But once you have seen the photo of him training with Sam in the gym, or heard him speak, almost in passing, about Jack needing clean clothes or food and otherwise managing himself, something changes in the way you watch. The energy on Ninja Warrior starts to feel less like pure performance and more like the overflow of a man who still has that same competitive spark at home, only now it is shared with young men who are nearly his height. There is a quiet pride that comes through in the few comments he has made. Not the loud, social media version of pride. The quieter kind. The kind that sits in the pause before he changes the subject. Viewers have noticed those pauses. They have felt the reluctance to say too much, as if protecting the ordinary texture of family life is more important than feeding the hunger for details. In an age when so many public figures document every birthday, every holiday, every small domestic moment, Ben's restraint has its own emotional weight. It suggests a deliberate choice. A belief that some things are better kept between the 4 of them. You can almost sense the studio atmosphere change whenever the conversation edges toward home. Co-presenters lean in a little differently. The questions stay gentle. No one presses. And that collective understanding, that unspoken agreement to leave the private life private, says something about how audiences have come to regard him. He is not the celebrity who invites you into every corner of his world. He is the one who lets you see just enough to understand that the energy you love on screen is rooted in something steadier off it. Perhaps that is why those rare family moments keep circulating. Not because they reveal scandal or drama, but because they reveal continuity. The same man who once balanced the early years of parenthood with the physical demands of Ninja Warrior is still balancing, only now the challenges are different. University. Independence. The slow, inevitable shift from being the center of two small boys' worlds to watching them step into their own. There is a tenderness in that transition that many people recognize, even if their own lives look nothing like his. In the end, what lingers is not the handful of photographs or the brief comments. It is the feeling that somewhere behind the bright lights and the obstacle courses there is a family that has been allowed to grow without constant performance. And maybe that is why so many viewers keep returning to those quiet mentions. Not for gossip, not for spectacle, but for the simple recognition that some of the most compelling stories on television are the ones that stay mostly untold. What did you notice when those rare glimpses appeared? Did the atmosphere on screen feel different to you as well?